and welcome to the program. In global finance, wealth management and generational transfer are vital investment decisions that leave enduring legacies. It has been the trademark of wealthy families, the elite, and notable leaders to establish these financial measures either through a will or a trust, or even both, to achieve financial sustainability. In the non-interest finance market, there has been growing interest in these investment vehicles as people from all classes in the Islamic faith have an opportunity to design their financial strategy. In this edition of the Islamic Finance Weekly, we will discuss the prospect for expanded Islamic estate planning in Nigeria. And to provide insight on the topic is our guest this morning, Mr. IBIWOYE, a real estate consultant. Mr. Abdulwasi joins us from Lagos. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Bukola. Good morning, and thank you for having me on this week's edition of Islamic Finance Program. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's start the conversation. The practice of wealth management and estate planning have become very important for individuals desiring to safeguard their assets in the event of untimely death or incapacitation. Can you take us through the rudiments of estate planning?
Estate planning, as we know, has to do with administering one's estates after their demise. And this estate planning is an holistic process that requires planning, management, and administration of one's estate or an individual's estate in the event of death or incapacity of that person. And the rudiments of estate planning is, like we said, is the final stage of financial management or wealth management. So it's important for an individual, a person who is looking at going into estate planning, because it's important for everyone though. So for anyone looking to go into estate planning, it's important that yes, the person plans properly. So it goes beyond writing a will. It goes beyond the document. It has to do more with planning, taking cognizance of risk, financial management, and ensure that one's wealth or one's assets is passed down to their beneficiaries or those who are going to survive them in the event of death or incapacity.
Thank you very much for your insight. Now, let's look at Islamic estate planning. Islamic estate planning is the act of writing wills or the distribution and disposal of someone's health estate, that is the wealth and property upon his or her death in accordance with Sharia law. What differentiates Islamic estate planning with conventional estate planning?
Okay, yeah, thank you, Bukola. What differentiates between the Islamic estate planning and the conventional estate planning is, one, for the Islamic estate planning is always in line with the Sharia and dictates of the Quran, because it's already prescribed on rulings that has to do with inheritance. So there is a fixed arrangement of structures on how properties or estates or assets that it's a state or a person or an individual is leaving behind needs to be shared according to the rulings of Islam or the Sharia or according to the Quran. But for the conventional one can just choose to give out his whole assets, his whole property to charity, which is unlike Islam, where the maximum you could give is 1/3 of your wealth to the cause of charity, only if you have the consent of your beneficiaries to give more than 1/3. So all this, one of the reasons as well is in terms of the Islamic estate planning, in terms of taxation, there is no form of reduction in taxation. You have to pay the amount required for tax that is being leveled.
It's not considerable. conventional estate planning.
Yeah, which is not in conventional estate planning. People will, trustees, look for a way to try and reduce the tax on the estate. So majorly, these are two differences that differentiates between the Islamic estate planning and the conventional estate planning.
So what are the options available for planning an estate in alignment with Islamic principles?
Okay. There is Wasiu for part of the options available for anyone who is looking to embrace Islamic estate planning, which is the will we all know. The will is a documentary statement or a declaration or an instruction by a person given to people who are going to survive him in the event of his death or incapacity on how his estate or asset is going to be distributed. So this is Al-Wasiya, is known as will. So it's always a written document where you have two witnesses attesting to the testator's signature on the will that yes, this person is passing down some of his assets or property to those who are going to survive him in line with the rulings of the Sharia and the Quran. So also we have IBA as one of the options too that Muslims can also use to embrace Islamic estate planning. The IBA has to do with, the meaning is gifts. So we have, it's also part of the option where a person could allocate part of his wealth as a gift to a person. And in giving out these gifts, it has to do during the lifetime of the person who is giving out the gifts. So in this arrangement, the person giving out the gift is known as the donor, and the person who is receiving the gift is known as the donee. So it's always important that anybody giving out the gift to another person, the person you're giving out a gift to should be a gift that is not encumbered, that doesn't have debts on it, has to be free of any encumbrance. So this is also one of the options available to embrace Islamic estate planning. We also have Waqf. Waqf is endowment where a property is held in trust. Is held in trust, so for a period of time, it could be, say, it could be eternally, it could be perpetuity. So it's been held in trust, and every revenue that is being gotten from this property is used as a form of charity. So the bottom line here is the options we have for Islamic estate planning as such has to do with the Al-Wasiya, which is the will, and the Iba, which is the gift, and the Waqf, which is the endowments, or some refers to it as trusts. So those are the three major options that have to do with one can embrace when looking at Islamic estate planning.
Thank you very much for highlighting those points. And what are the challenges with Islamic estate plans, in terms of regulatory policies, and how should the trustees be positioned to provide structured solutions and address such challenges?
Okay. In terms of policy with the regulatory bodies at the moment, in a country like ours, Nigeria, Islamic estate planning is just is not something people really know about in this part of the world. And a lot of education, awareness has to be done. At the moment, there is no policy as such that is affecting Islamic estate planning, because it's not an arrangement that a lot of people know about, because people already have misconception that estate planning is only for the rich. If I don't have money, I don't need to do estate planning. So even people who are Muslim like us too, some people, even if it was ordained or in the Quran that yes, there is a law for inheritance, you still find people who still raise their have this education. They are not aware of what Islamic estate planning is. So as trustees, it's important that we take this awareness to, we take it overboard, we take it to another level, the traditional awareness. going through clubs, meetings, social medias, trying to do this awareness and give it to, and also use our scholars, so Islamic scholars as a medium to also propagate the importance of having embracing Islamic estate planning, because it's an integral part of every society. Because in a country like India, for instance, this estate planning has helped socioeconomically to help provide land, provide property for the poor people. And as such, I think it's going to be very important if a lot of people are educated in terms of embracing Islamic estate planning.
Nigerians are not properly educated about Islamic estate planning. Apart from education, deepening the education on the estate plan, what are the opportunities that remain untapped in estate planning or Islamic estate planning?
You know, we've agreed that the education has to be take above board seminars, trainings, awareness. So the opportunities are there, because if you embrace Islamic estate planning, even in line with the Quran, you've been able to generate wealth for yourself. You've been able to manage your wealth. How do you ensure that your wealth is passed on to your inheritors or your survivors? Is important, because it will minimize disputes in the family when a disease passed and he already embraced Islamic planning, maybe through one of the options such as will, and you have somebody to administrate or execute your will on your behalf. So it's going to reduce or minimize disputes in family. It's going to even give you an idea of a list of your assets, what you have, how much value they are worth. It even helps to make a sustainable plan on how to make your assets profitable, because like the Prophet would tell us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that it is better for you as a person to leave your inheritors wealthy than leaving them poor for them to be going around and begging. So Islamic estate planning has a lot of opportunities in it, and it leaves a legacy for the individual. It protects the family. It offers solace, or it offers solace to the family after the demise of and it gives the family assurance that yes, after the demise of their loved ones, the family is still up and running. They are still living and according to better than when the demise, the person, or the individual was alive.
All right. Continuous awareness, continuous education is key for estate planning, and the more the education, the better for the individuals to understand and have deep knowledge about how estate planning works and Islamic estate planning. Thank you so much, Mr. Wasiu. We appreciate your intervention. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, Bukola. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye. And that brings us to the end of today's episode on the Islamic Finance Weekly. Watch our Islamic Finance Weekly videos on Web TV banking channel. You can as well follow us on all our social media platforms displaying on the screen. Many thanks for watching. See you again next week Friday for another episode.